Hi guys, welcome to a new series, North Node in Leo. I'm wearing my golden blouse today because Leo is gold, Leo is the sun, Leo is shiny. So Leo is, here to be noticed. So before we dive into North Node in Leo, let's talk about your South Node in Aquarius. And here's how I understand South Node in Aquarius. There's two manifestations to it. That's how I see it. One, overall, I would say Aquarian South Node, you guys are my humanitarians. You guys have had lifetimes where you were very deeply involved with the society you were in, with humanity. You're always looking how to make life good for everybody. I mean, everybody. You're very inclusive. You're very, very friendly. You're always, you never. I don't want to say judged anybody, but you were very inclusive and you always had ideas, big ideas. The beauty of Aquarius is that you have these eccentric ideas about how to maybe invent with something. You guys are my inventors. You guys are the ones that came up with things that made our lives easier. So you're very intertwined with the idea of humanity, with the idea of Earth, with the idea of, groups, wherever you were, wherever there was a lot of people, you were always like, okay, what can we do so that everybody benefits? The key was that everybody, not somebody, not one, but all of us, everybody. That's the idea with Aquarius. So you guys are, like I said, you have a deep caring for humans. You have a deep love for them. But the downfall of that is that because you have so many lifetimes that you invested in humans and you basically lost yourself in order to contribute to humans, wherever you were, you always kind of put yourself on the back burner and said, okay, forget about me, forget about my desires. Let me see, how can we all benefit? What can I do to make the group better? Because the group is counting on me, So part of you could be that because you were so intertwined, part of you now maybe hates humans. You really do. You're probably getting very triggered by what's going on now. Like you're very triggered about Mother Earth, about the oceans, about the politics, about everything where there's division and there's abuse and then there's all that craziness. You get really triggered by that to the point where it makes you hate humans. The very people that you love, at the same time you hate them because you don't understand why can't they see what needs to be done so we can all be happy on this earth, so we don't destroy ourselves or whatever. So that's how you see it. When I said there's two manifestations with Aquarius South Node, one is that because you were so enmeshed with humanity and groups and all that, the negative part about that could be a dystopian society. I love dystopian societies. They're scary, but they're beautiful the way they're structured, because the structure in there and this group thing of like what's good for the group, individualism is frowned upon. If you don't know what a dystopian society is, there's many movies about it. One of them, the series Handmaid's Tale, that's an example of a dystopian society. Fahrenheit 451. There's many other ones, but basically it's a society where the group thing and the benefit of it outweigh individualism, to where nobody shines, nobody is out there. And if you are out there, you more than likely get punished because you are threatening the existence of the group. They make you think that if we don't do this, this, and this, and this, we're going to collapse. We're going to destroy ourselves. So anytime somebody tries to get out of bounds, they either get killed, get punished, or destroyed, whatever. And then they make an example out of them to the rest of the society to reinforce it. So you with Aquarius South Nodes, it's in you, that dystopian society idea that, hey, there's rules. There's some rules that humans need to follow. And you probably are very set in how things need to be, how humans need to be. You're very set in what's right, what's wrong, what's moral, what's immoral. Aquarius, in a dystopian society, there wasn't a lot of feeling. There isn't a lot of emotions. It's all kind of subdued, suppressed, and shut down, because emotional outbursts will lead to the destruction of our society. And if we want to exist here, we need to maintain that, even idea. So you get the point. So you, with dystopian societies, you carry that in you as an Aquarius South Node of like the group is always outweighing individual. The Soviet Union is a great example, where individuality is not encouraged. It's seen as a threat. The United States is more individualistic. So that's one manifestation, one negative idea of Aquarius South Node. So to this day, you could be very critical. You could be very critical about how things need to be, what needs to be done, because you're always thinking about the group. In your mind, there's that belief, limiting belief that, the group, how can, humans, wherever you are, you always kind of see everything as a group, as a structure, as a society, and you're like, this would be a threat to it. You're too loud. You are asking for too much attention. You need to tone it down. We all need to be even keel. Another manifestation of Aquarius South Node could be that you did not get lost in groups. You were actually kicked out of groups because you did not buy into the idea of it. So you kind of isolated yourself. Back in the day, I would say my astrologers, whoever was, because Aquarius is intuitive in a sense. They get those brilliant ideas of that, information highway. They're so tuned to it. So maybe the ideas that you had were very threatening, once again, to the group. So you, instead of suppressing that within you and staying with the group, you said, fuck you guys, I'm out. And you kind of became that loner. So inside of you, there is that feeling of a loner, of like, I don't fit in here. And part of you guys, because back in the day, they used to burn all the esoteric people, they used to burn the witches, they used to burn the forest people, whoever was putting information out there that was not with the status quo, they were destroyed. Once again, they were, because the status quo had to be maintained. So you have those memories of being looked down on, of being kicked out of the tribe for being you, for being, unique, for believing what you believe. But you were brave enough to say, I believe this and I'm going to follow this. But it led you to a life of loneliness. It led you to a life of disconnection. It led you to a life of saying, you petty fucking humans, you don't understand, you don't see it. You're sitting there, all you're thinking about is food and sex and consumption, but you don't understand the bigger picture. So you kind of isolated yourself. You kind of put that barrier between you and other humans, and you spend a lot of time alone. So you have that in you, that strength of like separating yourself from all the craziness. But at the same time, there's a loneliness in you. There's a loneliness that's like, gosh, I kind of would love to be, over there and interacting with those people. I would love to be more simple. I would love to just kind of take part in games and fun and stuff. But you were kicked away from the group, burned at the stakes, and you almost inside of you, there's a fear of like expressing yourself in a sense, of going against the grain again. Well, now with North Node in Leo, you guys are here to kind of forget about the group in all its manifestations, to forget about freaking humans, to forget about Mother Earth. Don't worry about Mother Earth. Don't worry about the whales. Everything is going according to plan. You are here to focus on yourself. You're here to be totally individualistic. And with North Node in Leo, you're here to shine. You're here to be beautiful and bright and just expressive and playful and loud. You can be the loudest one in the room. You cannot be shy. You cannot be behind the curtains looking at the stage and saying, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could dance my heart out. Because inside of you, there is a huge desire to express. There's a huge desire to show the world how beautiful you are. Not to teach the world of what they need to do to make this a better place. Forget about that. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to hate humans and the angrier you're going to get. So if you want to really change this world, you freaking light up your world with your North Node in Leo. You shine bright. And then people will see you and you will impact them that way. Not the other way of trying to teach them what's wrong and what's right and how we should do this and stuff. No, you're going to get more frustrated and you're going to hate them. So get away from that. Focus on you. Be selfish. And then you'll see how things change. Okay? Now let's go deeper in each house and see what we're working with. North Node in Leo in the 8th house. So let's go to the beginning. South Node in Aquarius in the 2nd. What does that mean? Well, the good thing about South Node in Aquarius in the 2nd is that you have very unique ways, cool ways, unexpected ways to make money. With Aquarius in the 2nd, you were, my inventors. You were people that came up with really cool technological ways to make money. Because Aquarius is technology, Aquarius is progress, Aquarius is, the esoteric as well. You were people that made money through unconventional ways. And money came to you in unconventional ways. So you were not a 9-to-5 kind of worker, You were somebody who was maybe you very creative ways, very creative ideas on how to make money. And money probably was something that I wouldn't say you put a big emphasis on it. I think for you, the worth in the second house as an Aquarius was that a constant push to like come up with even more ways to make money, more unique ways to make money, more, the weirder the better. It could be like what we see now with the currency, the cryptocurrency, things like that. Technology, my Steve Jobs, my Bill Gates, my inventors, the ones that had very cool, unique ways to make money. You're really good at that. You're really good at finding out ways to do that. And a lot of your emphasis, because it's the second house and in Aquarius, has to do with how can I make that money, and how can I, share it with others, impact the world with that. You're always looking to come up with something cool and then share it with the world. It's that Aquarian idea of make this world a better place. So a lot of the ideas that you did have about money ended up benefiting a lot of people. Now, with the second house, the negative part about second house Aquarius is that you were very, your worth was based on that. You know yourself. Your own worth is based on these achievements, based on these big ideas, and that's what you pride yourself on. Very logical. You're very, you're not emotional. Aquarius is never emotional. Aquarius never loses their head, especially when it comes to money, especially when it comes to things like that. So you valued that. You valued progress. You valued, going forward. And I would say, if we think about it in the negative idea, if you valued so much progress, then maybe you really didn't care about how that progress was happening. It was kind of an idea, a Capricornian idea of the end justifies the means. You had no problem, in the name of science, in the name of progress. Like what I'm thinking is like maybe scientific experiments. Because Aquarius, a south node, has no problem separating itself from whatever it's doing. It never gets involved emotionally. It's always kind of like, there's always a wall between Aquarius and whatever he or she is doing. It never lets anybody close, nothing close. It always maintains that objectivity. It always maintains that cool head. So if I put you guys in the second, once again, I'm thinking about freaking scientific experiments that were to the detriment of people. Something where you did not value human life, but you valued money, progress, going forward. Maybe what comes to mind, which is kind of crazy, but how you watch all these Marvel movies, there's always some crazy scientist that wants to develop some kind of drug that's going to enslave humanity to save them from themselves. That kind of idea. I think it's great. I think it fits perfectly here because Aquarius wants to improve humanity. Aquarius thinks that humans overall are stupid because they don't realize that they're destroying themselves. So Aquarius is like, well, fuck it, let me come up with something that's going to save these idiots from themselves. But what's happening is you're actually not seeing that you're not helping humanity. Your ego is involved. Anytime South Node, no matter what house, no matter what sign, it's going to be the ego. The ego is going to take over the noble ideas of that sign. So in Aquarius, you were that madman, and you see it in so many comic books, whatever, that crazy scientist that wants to punish humanity or wants to obliterate it and start all over again. So you lost connection with the human idea of pain, of what makes a human, of feelings, of emotions. You lost that. You forgot about that. Actually, you never even knew that. You were completely disconnected from the human factor. You looked at humans as numbers, as rats in a lab experiment. So that's the crazy part about you guys. I know it's in you, that crazy scientist or that crazy madman or billionaire that wants to, just exterminate Earth. That's you, for the benefit of Earth, for progress. You value that, your worth is based on that. You don't think you're anybody unless you're sitting there and figuring out something big, something that's going to shock the world or something. That's all you know. Second house is very stubborn in its own way of how it sees money, and usually places big emphasis on money. And I know I said earlier that maybe you want to share that money with people, but now that I think about it, all right, fuck it. Maybe you do share it with people, but you're always thinking of like the big picture. And of course, some people are going to benefit from the big picture, but some people won't. So in your case, there was always somebody who was falling behind, but you didn't care because in your mind, it was all progress. You know, Aquarius always looks forward, never looks back. In your mind, it was all, we're doing this for the better of humans, for the better of the organizations, for the better of the tribe. So you were able to separate yourself from that. Now, with North Node in Leo in the 8th, you cannot escape the idea of humanity in its real, sharing idea of humans. Not humans as masses of people that need to be controlled and manipulated and, for their own benefit. But humans that need to be understood. Anytime you have a North Node in the 8th house, you will be called, you'll come face to face with human trauma, drama, pain, and you will be asked or forced to get to know it and to get away from that logical approach, that cold approach. It's going to be hard for you because your mind literally is all it knows is itself, and that idea of looking at something as an experiment, looking at something as logical, looking at something as numbers. You lost the connection with the human factor. So now with Leo in the 8th house, you will need to get away from the logic, connect to the heart. It's going to be hard, guys. 8th house is unforgiving. It's unrelenting. It's going to take you deep. You're going to have a lot of pain in your life because you're going to need to open that freaking heart of yours. You're going to have to open it and connect with it. So you're going to need to get close to people. You're going to need to listen to people. You're going to need to, as you find that warmth within you, because you're going to have a lot of issues yourself, a lot of ideas, a lot of trauma and pain yourself that you're going to have to realize that I am human. It's okay to feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be weak, and people are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. And once you realize that, once you connect to that, once you find that warmth within you, that strength in you, then you can do that for others. Because 8th house, you're going to have to interact with others on a very personal way. So you'll be asked to nurture them in a Leo way. What does that mean? Leo is warm. Leo is bright. Leo is shiny. It just feels good. People are going to want to come to you and open up to you, and you will need to nurture them and bring them home. You're going to need to just say, I got you, buddy. Give them a hug. You will need to connect with humans on a one-to-one basis. You will need to share with them. You will need to share yourself with them. Sexually, the same thing, with Aquarius in the 2nd, because sex could be in the 2nd, but it's very for self-consumption. It's very, once again, when you put Aquarius in sex, there's not a lot of emotion. It could be mechanical. It could be, once again, an experiment. Sex could have been an experiment. Sex is something that you probably just don't connect to. You just do it for the sake of it, and then you keep going. 8th house, North Node in Leo. Sex is going to have to be intimate. It's going to have to be grand. It's going to have to be expressive. You're going to have to let your emotions out while you're having sex. You're going to have to connect to that part of you, because you are done being that cold scientist and looking at everything through a magnifying glass. You're going to have to take your glasses off, and you're going to have to just, open your heart, let people in, share with your partner, let your partner share with you, warm them up. As a Leo, you have to warm them up, because they will come to you and they will be cold and sad and with trauma and stuff, and you'll have to be that rock for them, in a sense, that warm feeling, that feeling of I'm okay, I'm safe here, that parent. Leos are great fathers because they're so nurturing and they're so encouraging. They're encouraging the other. And the same thing with you. You will need to be that for the people around you, to share. You're gonna have to share in a very warm, comforting, heart open way. Okay? All right. I hope that helps.